Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much and welcome. It's always a nice way to end the week when you're surrounded by friends, families, and governmental partners to talk about progress here in Mount Vernon. Like I said, we just said something about there's a difference between promises and progress. And not only do I get promises from some of my partners, they actually deliver with the progress and the impact. And so today we're here to just thank our Senator Jamaal Bailey, who has been a partner from the beginning of my experience here in City Hall. And I think this is like almost, we were here almost 2 years ago. Exactly almost 2 years ago to talk about CREST money that was being given to the Dole Center and to also safety money that was being given to police and fire. And so here we are again because you have such an incredible commitment to public safety as well as parks and rec and making sure that our community can be a community and have places to convene. And so this year we come again with a check totaling over $760,000. We have money. So this, I think this started, strangely enough, Memorial Day weekend. Yeah. Memorial Day weekend. I happened to take my only 2 days of vacation this year, and I was in DR. And I heard that there might be some monies available in the state, and I called Assemblyman Pretlow, and I called Senator Bailey, and he was like, yeah, so what do you need? We might have a little something, what do you need? And I called my, public safety first, because I know that's where he's focused usually first, and they said we need body-worn cameras in the police department. He said, cool, no problem, got it. And I called fire, and they said, well, we need some Lucas machines. I said, okay, no problem. I called him back. He said, got it. I called Pretlow, and Pretlow at the same time, because the fire department needed a compression machine. And so Pretlow said, gotcha. And then we called back maybe about 2 weeks later on because we were kicking off playground season, and I think it was Parks Month in May, and we were having vandalism in the parks. And so again, I said, this is a public safety and public access issue, and we need cameras in our parks and our playgrounds because we're experiencing vandalism and we're investing, but people are breaking up the parks and playgrounds. And he said, Mayor, just write it up and send it to me, I got you. And so I want to thank you for being the type of partner that doesn't look out to say, I got you, like I caught you in something, but a partner that says, I got you. And with that being said, I just want to thank you for being that partner and making sure that Mount Vernon, we are a smaller part of your district, but I don't think that I could ever even say for 1 minute that I feel like we play second fiddle. He could probably get elected without us, but he gives us that same attention. He always makes sure that Mount Vernon is included and that he's reaching out to be a problem solver and not a problem starter. So thank you so much, Senator Bailey. Look, when I stand next to you, I gotta have bars and raps and rhymes because he's always flowing. And so with that being said, I wanna thank you and I wanna give space to our Senator Bailey, and then of course after that we're going to ask for our Congressman Latimer to please come up, and then for police, fire, and parks to just be able to say their thanks. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I feel lucky. And the only thing, I've never said this in the time that I've known you, but you've only been wrong just now. I could not get elected without Mount Vernon. Okay. Mount Vernon is the greatest little big city in the world. You have taken me in like one of your own. You have trusted me with your most precious resource, your people. In times of disaster that we've had in the last week or two, it's important that we're talking about public safety because these are the people that run in when we go this way. And so when we're talking about who we censor, we got to censor those who censor others. You guys didn't ask the names of the victims before you saved them, right? You don't ask the names of victims before you help them, right? You help people that you don't know. and that you may never meet again, but you do it in spirit and in service.
Yes.
So I'm glad that's why we're able to do this today. And Madam Mayor, when you call me, and if I got it, you got it, because Mount Vernon got it. Because we have to get each other. I couldn't go got it. That would have been really incorrect grammar. I like to flow, but I can't flow when I'm hooked on phonics. I can't do that. But it's a reality that our police, they need equipment. Our fire, they need life-saving equipment. And our parks need to make sure that children like mine and like yours have safe spaces to play. And Assembly Member Gary Pretlow would have been here, but the Assembly is doing their retreat a little earlier than usual, so Sam is here on his behalf. But you should know that Gary and I work seamlessly as partners at the state level to make sure these things happen. And so while this check may be from me, Gary Pretlow works just as hard as I do, probably harder, because I know he's from Mount Vernon, and you'll get on him if he doesn't work a little bit harder, to make sure that we're delivering for the folks in the city of Mount Vernon. So let's talk about a little bit about what's happening. The breakdown is $124,000 to the police department for body cameras, $182,100 to the fire department for Lucas cameras, and $454,700 for the park cameras. Now you're wondering why the numbers, right? There are a lot of parks in this great city. And so those cameras are going to be able to be put around equally. And the individuals, these public safety heroes, they can tell you what they're going to do. It's my job to do what? Give the money and get out the way. Because these are people who put their lives on the line. And so before I leave, I just want to make sure I do my holiday rundown and say thank you. I want to say I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I'm hopeful that you have a happy Hanukkah, a happy Kwanzaa, a very Merry Christmas, a happy Boxing Day for all my Caribbeans, that always gets the most love all the time, every single time I say it. A happy Three Kings Day. A happy Festivus if you're a Seinfeld fan. Air the grievances, but hopefully not with us. But I'll leave you with this. There's a lot of tragedy and a lot of travesties in the world right now. Being nice doesn't cost you a thing. If you can hear my voice, if you see my face, speaking about this, do something nice for someone. Take care of yourself. And somebody that always takes care of Mount Vernon, from the South Side himself, somebody who is undefeated. And the reason why he's undefeated in all those races is not just because he runs great campaign and can geotag a squirrel on a map, because he can do all of those things. It's because he has the heart and the wisdom of a true public servant. He's the county executive that made free buses so hot that we did it in New York City. Now as the congressman, he's making things happen even when there's gridlock in DC. My friend, he's your friend, he's your congressman, George Latimer.
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor and Senator Bailey. It is a great moment to see that this kind of resource can be brought to bear into my hometown of Mount Vernon. And as a South Side boy who spent time at some of the parks that we're talking about, and not just Hartley Park, but down on Bleecker Street, that little paved-over park with the basketball hoops. Sometimes they didn't have nets on them in those days. They saved the nets for the 4th Street playground and for the Hartley Park playground. But this is a community where there are working-class people, and they need their parks, and they need their emergency services protections that the fire department provides, and they need the comfort and the confidence that the police department gives them, that they'll be safe in their comings and their goings. And so what Gary Pretlow and Jamaal Bailey have done is exceptional. And let me tell you that I have served alongside each of them in those two houses. I was an assemblyman during Gary's early stages, and when Jamaal Bailey first came to represent the state senate, I was there as a state senator. You could not ask for two better representatives in Albany. And understand that Jamaal Bailey is one of 63 senators, and Gary Pretlow is one of 150 assemblymen. And don't think that every one of them aren't trying to do the same thing for their communities. But their ability, Jamaal's ability to make a strong argument on behalf of Mount Vernon for this money is why this money is here. and the same true for Gary. And you have to recognize that the leader of the state Senate lives one town over from us in Yonkers, Andrea Stewart Cousins. And the leader of the state assembly sits in this area, this district, Carl Hastie, right over the border, just on the other side of Mount St. Michael on Hill Avenue. So the ability of Jamaal and of Gary to marshal resources to the leaders of the legislature is how this happens. And when people in Mount Vernon, as they do all across the country, feel cynical, they think all politicians are in for themselves, they don't understand how we live our lives, and there's a certain resentment. They're not looking at what a Jamaal and what a Gary has to do to accomplish this moment. And knowing that they have the confidence in Mayor Patterson Howard and in the professionals that she has in these departments to be able to deliver these things. Because government is not about how frequently you get on TV. Government is not about how many people see your Facebook posts and your outrageous statements. It's whether you can actually accomplish something. My brother Ken Jenkins, who's now the county executive, he and I served together, deputy, and I was county executive. That's why Memorial Field is there. That's why Scout Field was improved up in the other end of town too, for that portion of Mount Vernon. Those things are results. And I think today what you're seeing is that Senator Bailey, Assemblyman Pretlow, working with the mayor and her team, have produced a result. And for my hometown of Mount Vernon, it's a good day. Congratulations, Senator, and to the Assemblyman and Madam Mayor, congratulations. Very happy for you.
So I'm going to kick it back to police, fire, and parks. And we'll do these in bigger fashion, but you know, what we're talking about today is not just what they're working with us on. You know, when it comes to, what is it, 4th Street Playground, we're getting almost $3 million for that renovation there. Another, and that's what we announced 2 years ago, that contract is in, and I think in January we're going to be ready to go forward with the Dole Center. Another over $2 million there, about $2.7 million. $2.7 million. I just signed some paperwork, and we're going to sign the final contract for another $4.4 million that is coming in for Brush Park, right? And so people might say, well, we need money for other things. Why not money for the budget? Well, because different monies come out of different pockets in different places, and so we apply, and with the support of our electeds at the state level, we always let them know when we're applying, and they always make their phone calls and advocate, and this is what partnership looks like, right? It's not just the awards that you give us out of your discretionary funds, but it's the competitive awards and competitive grants that they support us in that help us bring more and more funding into Mount Vernon. And so with that being said, we're going to do police, we're going to do fire, and then we're going to do recreation. And Senator, I just have to say this, because May was a difficult time. I think May, June was a difficult time because that's when we lost Mr. Peralta. Well, right, Mr. Peralta. And the one thing, and the fire department will talk about it, but the one thing, and that's what I called the senator with, the one thing that gave Mr. Peralta, who was our tree trimmer, who died after a work accident, was what gave him a fighting chance is the use of the Lucas machines. If we did not have the Lucas machines, he may not have made it to the hospital. Once he made it to the hospital, he had a fighting chance. And even though it did not end in sustained life, we knew that that equipment was going to be important, not just for him, but for so many other families. And again, you stepped up, and so thank you. So that being said.
Good afternoon. Today is an important day for the Mount Vernon Police Department and for the city as a whole. I want to extend my sincere gratitude to New York Senator Jamaal Bailey for his continued support to our department and our community. Senator Bailey has once again demonstrated his commitment to public safety and to the men and women who serve the city, presenting us all with a check for $124,000, dedicated to the expansion of our body-worn camera program. The investment is more than funding for equipment. It is an investment in transparency, accountability, and trust. Body-worn cameras are a vital tool that helps strengthen the relationship between our officers and the residents that we serve. They allow both department and the community to review and better understand critical incidents, and they provide an objective record of the actions taken by officers in the performance of their duty. Our mission is to serve and to protect with integrity, professionalism, and respect. These cameras support that mission by helping ensure that our interactions reflect the values we stand for. They protect our officers, they protect our community, and they help us continue to move forward together. Senator Bailey, on behalf of the Mount Vernon Police Department, thank you for standing with us, believing in our work, and continuing to be a stronger partner enhancing public safety. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief.
And I'm available next Friday for another one.
Good afternoon. Happy holidays to everyone. This is truly a season for giving. When we can receive gifts like this from Senator Bailey, from Gary Pretlow, who's helped us get a compressor that fills our air cylinders when we fight fires. These Lucas devices, as the mayor said, that they're essential in our response and how we treat any citizen or any fire department or police officer or any city worker, and give them a better chance in any cardiac distress that they may be in. I have here with me Mrs. Everett, who spearheaded our medical before I even got here, and she made a push to get these Lucas devices on our apparatuses so that we can have a higher probability of saving lives. I'm thankful to you guys for giving us this beautiful gift. It's needed. It's going to strengthen us. And with that being said, happy holidays, and thank you again, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Tony?
Thank you, Senator, Congressman, Mayor. We're always admonished, I'm always admonished to be ye also ready. So I was not expecting this, but I'm grateful for the opportunity. And we're grateful for the gift to go towards purchasing additional Lucas devices. And they have been on the ground since February of this year. And I have to tell you, they have been instrumental in saving many lives here in Mount Vernon and giving people, our patients, and our residents a fighting chance. And that's what we want. Lucas devices give quality compressions when you're in cardiac arrest. That is the difference between life and death. So we thank all of you for supporting the fire department and our EMS program, and especially this grant so that we can get additional equipment on all of our rigs. Thank you again.
Very welcome.
Good afternoon. All right. Commissioner Walker Pickney of Recreation. I also have Deputy Commissioner Early that's hiding behind the police. On behalf of Mount Vernon Department of Recreation, I want to thank you, Senator Bailey, as well as Assemblyman Pretlow, for this important investment in our parks. These cameras will help keep our young people, seniors, and families safe, giving everyone a peace of mind as they enjoy our community space. We want every resident to walk into a park or playground feeling at ease, a happy place to unwind, read a book, or spend time with family without any concerns. When residents feel secure in their parks, it builds pride and support and even more positive programs in our city. Once again, thank you for supporting and being a friend of the city of Mount Vernon. Appreciate it.
And so, Madam Mayor, if you could stand with me again, as you always do, you always stand with me. And I think that's important for us to note that we all stand side by side in the work that we do. There are times that some of us have to step forward because that is what the job necessitates, but eventually we all stand side by side. Let that be a carrying call, a clarion carrying call to all of us. and may it extend beyond the season of giving. Hopefully on January 2nd, you feel the same way. And maybe you feel the same way on February 2nd. Wouldn't it be great if we made it to March and April, then May, then June, then July, then August, September, November, and we'd be back here with the same feeling? That would be nice, wouldn't it? But it is up to us to do that. I am the captain of the ship. I am the master of my soul. It is up to you. And I can tell you this. I don't know what the dollar amount is, but I'm not done. I don't know what the next project is, but I'm not done. We're going to continue to help the needs of this city, block by block, brick by brick, heart by heart. And nobody has a greater servant heart than your mayor. I don't live in Mount Vernon, but she's my mayor. People that don't live in New York State, she's their mayor. Madam Mayor, thank you.
Thank you.
For your friendship, for your leadership, and for your stewardship.
You know, and we're going to end like that because you summed it up and you said it all. And so thank you for this nice holiday gift to police, to fire, to recreation, but more importantly, it will be to all of the residents of Mount Vernon because it will benefit them. And we didn't just think about the city when we thought about the Lucas devices, because we said we wanted to make sure one was put at the Board of Education, probably at, the high schools and Dole Center and Memorial Field, right? Because we know those are places where, public spaces where cardiac arrest can happen because of all of the activity and the exercise. And so this expanded it. And if some might say, well, $124,000 for body cameras for the police, understand that was just to help us close the gap, because we've used ARPA money and band money to outfit our police department, and we just needed some more cameras for our officers and some of the new cars that we got because we expanded the fleet. And so we wanted to make sure that those were covered. And, that's it. So thank you, everyone. Have an amazing weekend. Happy holidays. And as you said,